inspiring words while we were waiting for our tech issues to be resolved. Um, let's center ourselves again. Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Cincinnati. My name is Patricia Rohr, and I am your worship leader this morning. We are glad you're here with us, whether in person, and I think at this point back virtually as well. Welcome, located on the ancestral lands of the Adena, Hopewell, Maiamia, and Shawnee people, our urban community welcomes all with love, supports learning and spiritual growth, serves our wider community, and works for justice, equity, and inclusion. If you'd like to learn more about events or programs you hear about during the service, or if you want to learn more about the Unitarian Universalist faith, please contact us at member-care@firstuu.com. In order to make everyone feel equally welcome at First Church, we have put up new posters all around church that inform you of various accommodations that you might appreciate, including non-gendered restrooms upstairs, listening devices and noise-canceling headphones in the back, and an invitation to pull out handwork if you need to occupy your hands during the service. Please ask the ushers if you need anything, and feel free to leave the sanctuary if you need to. You can still listen to the service from the lounge area outside of the sanctuary. We have two beautiful sets of flowers this morning. The first set right in front of me is given by Mary Mark in honor of the abundance of spring. The second one, next to our chalice, is given by Faith in honor of John's birthday. So we all just a big round of applause for John. He's in the back right there. Congratulations, happy birthday. And now let us be present together while we light our chalice. We light this chalice as the symbol of our faith with the following words by Hillel. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? And if I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? And now, if you are willing and able, please stand and sing our vision song. The words will appear on the screen. Remain standing after the song and greet your neighbors. Given our later start this morning, I think we'll cut the greeting your neighbors short. There's always a potluck after service if you want to keep saying hi to each other. Now we will watch our Story for All Ages, prepared by Meredith Plummer.
Hi'iaka Battles the Wind, written by Gabriela Ahuli'i. Hi'iaka Battles the Wind, written by Gabriela Ahuli'i, illustrated by Jing Song. On an island in the middle of the ocean, there lived a young woman named Hi'iaka. Hi'iaka lived with her sister Pele among the fires of Kilauea. Hi'iaka was fearless and deeply protective of the people of her island. She had a magical pa'u, skirt made of lightning, that crackled and thundered wherever she went. At this time, a ferocious wind tore through Waipio Valley. The wind uprooted kalo, ripped ulu from their branches before they were ripe, and swept houses away. Day after day, the wind attacked everything in its path. The people of Waipio were powerless against it. Hi'iaka heard of the destruction, and with her older sister's blessing, she set off for the storm coast. She wanted to help the people of Waipio so they could rebuild and live in peace without the threatening wind. The wind howled and raged when he heard of Hi'iaka's plan. He trembled at the power of Kilauea, but stubbornly refused to leave the valley. When Hi'iaka at last reached Waipio, the furious wind whirled with all his might. He cut deep gashes into the mountainside and forced sprays of water out of the riverbed. Fearless Hi'iaka did not budge. She stood tall and wielded her lightning skirt. Hi'iaka summoned piercing rains, split the wind with blinding lightning, and deafened him with mountain-moving thunder. The scattered wind tried to regroup and envelop Hi'iaka, but she was too fast and powerful. Hi'iaka battled the wind until it became nothing but a breeze. Weakened, the wind retreated to a cave, where he has stayed ever since, howling in frustration. Waipio became peaceful and lush, and the people of Hawaii continued to live under the protection and care of brave Hi'iaka and her magical pa'u. Sometimes land is destroyed by wind and rain, earthquakes and fires. Other times, land is destroyed by corporations and government, who dump waste and trash. When waste and trash is dumped in communities of color, this is called environmental racism. I wonder if you know of any modern-day Hi'iakas who are battling environmental racism in their communities.
So, to continue our going with the flow for this service, all our RE teachers are sick today, so we will not be singing our children to class this morning. And the next person who was supposed to perform was Lena Bush. Unfortunately, she is also sick this morning, so we'll be playing a video of the song instead. Enjoy.
told me when I was young, we're all born superstars. She rolled my hair and put my lipstick on in the glass of her boudoir. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause he made you perfect, babe. So hold your head up, girl, and you'll go far. Listen to me when I say I'm beautiful in my way. God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Don't hide yourself in regret. Just love yourself and you're set. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Give yourself prudence. Love your friends. So we can rejoice your truth. In the religion of the insecure. Now sing it with me right now. I must be myself, respect my youth. A different lover, it is not a sin, believe me. Capital H-I-M, hey, yeah. I love my life, I love this record, and me, I want it for the yeah. Love leads, babe. I'm beautiful in my way. God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Don't hide yourself in regret. Just love yourself and you're set. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Oh, there ain't no other way, baby. I was born this way, baby. I was born this way, born this way. There ain't no other way, baby. I was born, and I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way, yeah. No matter gay, straight or bi, lesbian, transgender life, I'm on the right track, baby. I was born to survive. No matter black, white or beige, chola or Orient made, I'm on the right track, baby. I was born to be brave. On the rain of all the way, baby, I was born this way. Oh, there ain't no other way, baby. I was born, and I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way.
I don't think I'm on this. Oh, there I am. Okay. You know, I woke up this morning and there was a big clap of thunder right over our house, and I went, oh God, that's not a good sign. That's just not a good sign. Here I am. Good morning. I'll get back to my script. My name is Karen Rohr, and I am the chair of the Carter Social Justice Team. Now, how did we get the name Carter Social Justice Team? Well, it's a really long story, and I'm not telling it to you. There's a big white book out there which is actually in my car because I forgot to bring it back in. But I will bring it back in. And it's about this thick, and Anne Rutledge put together all of the history of the Carter family and how First Church first got involved with them. I am going to give you a very short history of the Carter family and how we got involved with them. According to Reverend Dr. Morrison Reed, the Reverend W.G.H. Carter grew up on a farm in Arkansas, attended Shorter College, and discovered Unitarianism through his own reading. In 1918, he created the Church of the Unitarian Brotherhood in Cincinnati. It was the first African-American Unitarian church in the country. And he was a very prominent leader for the Black community. And the ministers knew about him and about his church. But they didn't think that they should really support it because it was in, and I'm putting this in air quotes, wrong neighborhood. You can fill in wrong any way you want to. But since I'm quoting the Reverend Dr. Morrison Reed, I don't think I should put in what I think wrong meant. So they never formed the AUA. So how and why did First Church create the Carter Fund? In 1999, after the Reverend Sharon Ditmar joined our congregation, she told the story of the Carter family to this church. And people were really upset of what had been done to the Carter family and to that church, and that we never knew anything about it. So we invited the Carter family to come for a reconciliation Sunday. And they did, and I think this was 1980 or 81. And the Carter Fund was established to support local organizations in our community. Since that time, the Carter Fund had raised $84,000 to contribute to the community. I need to change my page. So what happened to the Carter Fund? Why isn't it here anymore? Well, we lost our leadership. Through many different things happened kind of at once. First of all, they were what I would call graying. And then we had problems within our own church at that time. And finally, COVID hit. And between all of those things, it was gone. But when the Social Justice Committee got back together again, after all the other losses that our church had to deal with, we didn't want to lose Carter Sunday. We felt it was an important part of our church's history. So we renamed the team the Carter Social Justice Team in honor of the Carter family, both Beulah and her husband, the Reverend Carter. And together, we combine the funds of our endowment outreach fund and the monies that we will collect today to continue supporting the local organizations and communities. And we now have Carter Social Justice Sunday. We are trying in the best way that we can think of to continue the tradition. So how do we decide which organizations will receive monies from us and also the special plate collections that go on through the year? We ask you. Every January, an email is sent out requesting that members of the community who support other organizations rather than our 3 focus groups submit names of organizations that they would like to see supported. Lisa Davis Roberts vets the organizations, and the committee votes. We chose who will get a special plate and who will get a donation. Lisa can't be here today because she was running in a very wet Flying Pig marathon. But thankfully, she made a video introducing us to this year's recipients.
Come on, video.
Good morning. Lisa Davis Roberts here on behalf of the Social Justice Team. One of our tasks is to manage the Share the Plate collections and the Carter Social Justice Funds each year. To do this, we ask for your help to identify organizations that put into action our UU values, including, for instance, honoring the inherent worth and dignity of all people, fostering justice, equality, and compassion in all human relations, and respect for the interdependent web of life. Thanks to all of you who offer suggestions, and here are the organizations our congregation will be sharing with our plate collections during the next fiscal year. In July, our Share the Plate recipient will be Sweet Cheeks Diaper Bank. Sweet Cheeks partners with social service agencies to distribute diapers to families in need. 1 in 3 families struggle to afford diapers for their children. They are expensive and they're not covered by SNAP benefits. A lack of clean diapers leads to health problems, disruption in daycare, and even emotional well-being. Research shows that caregivers snuggle their babies more when their diapers are clean. Sweet Cheeks distributes diapers for 3,600 children each month. In September, our Share the Plate recipient will be Tikkun Farm. Tikkun Farm has a modest mission to heal the world, starting with her neighborhood in Mount Healthy. Led by Mary Lehman, who is an ordained minister herself, the community of Tikkun Farm promotes healing and restoration to all, from farm education and job creation for neighborhood youth to fertile soil for Bhutanese farmers to grow their native vegetables. Our January Share the Plate recipient is the Jeanette Rankin Foundation. This is a national organization with local reach that provides scholarships to women at any age when scholarships are very hard to find. As Rosie Park noted in her recommendation, these women have grit and determination. They just need resources to help themselves and their families build a better future. Our February Share the Plate recipient will be Found House, formerly known as IHN. We've supported this very worthwhile organization for years, both financially and as hosts. This year, we'll provide financial support as Found House continues to provide housing support and, importantly, case management to local families and their pets. Our June Share the Plate recipient is Transform Cincy. This is a local organization dedicated to helping transgender and non-gender conforming youth blossom through clothes that truly fit them inside and out. They have built a supportive community and a fantastic service. It is a great way to honor the inherent worth and dignity of these vulnerable and valuable youth. In addition to the above organizations, about which you'll learn more in the months coming when we share the plate, here are 3 organizations we've identified to receive $1,000 each from our Carter Social Justice Fund. The Greater Cincinnati Native American Coalition is a loosely based coalition of Native American organizations and individuals, churches, and other groups, with a vision to preserve and represent Native and Indigenous people through education, advocacy, and support. New Life Furniture Bank collects and distributes gently used furniture to families and individuals in need. They deliver and set up an entire household of furniture to families overcoming homelessness, domestic abuse, extreme poverty, and other devastating circumstances. And finally, Refugee Connect's mission is to connect refugees, people who have fled their country to escape persecution or war, with resources to rebuild their lives as U.S. citizens. They provide help and navigation with accessing education, healthcare, employment, and other essential services. If you have any questions about these organizations or about the Social Justice Team, please reach out to me or any other member of our team. Thank you.
As mentioned, this month's offering will be giving to the Carter Social Justice Fund. Giving to First Church is easy. You can text the word GIVE to 513-717-7373. You can also go to Breeze and click the Give Now button, or you can give online at firstuu.com. You can also write a check to First Unitarian Church of Cincinnati and mail it to 536 Linton Street, Cincinnati, Ohio 45219. If you want to give with a check, put the Carter Social Justice Fund in the memo line of your check. If this is the first time with us, please let the virtual plate pass you by. Your presence is gift enough to our church.
Good morning again. Okay, I'm here. I get a lot of questions about how the social justice team, the Carter Social Justice Team, actually works. 5 years ago, there were major changes to how the social justice team operated. There was a point in time when we met every Sunday afternoon, and anybody who wanted to wander in, wandered in. Yeah, Dan is smiling and nodding his head. People wandered in for a number of different reasons, some asking for money for their special projects, which was fine. Some were just really curious about what was going on, and then there were the regulars, the people who were leading projects that many people in our church participated in. Somebody once called those people the only project managers, or just project managers. I will not tell you who said that, but it kind of made me really ticked off. Those project managers are our leaders. They're the people who do the work. Now, they couldn't do the work without the rest of the support from the rest of the congregation. And I was at this point going to ask everybody who worked at Shiloh, Food Pantry, and South Avondale Elementary School, and with the Green Team to please stand up, but we lost a lot of time at the beginning because of technical difficulties, so I'm not going to do that. Without leadership, we don't have teams. We don't have, well, we really don't have anything. As I said before, leadership is key. When we lose leadership, we lose those teams. Patricia Rohr leads, stand up. Patricia Rohr leads the South Avondale Elementary team, and I see many people sitting here who go and tutor every week, including myself. Tom Rohr, stand up, Tom, leads, and yes, there are a lot of Rohrs on the social justice team, leads the Shiloh Food Pantry, and he's on the board of the Shiloh Food Pantry and organizes our volunteers that go there. And Denise Olden, who's not here today, and Janet Schneider, Janet, stand up, I know you, lead our green team. In addition, I want to introduce the rest of our Carter Social Justice team. You've already met Lisa Davis Roberts on the screen, and without her, I don't know how we would choose different organizations to support. She does a wonderful job. Debbie Davidson is also not here today. She sends out the notices every week about what's going on in Cincinnati as it relates to social justice. And finally, Amanda Oney could not come this morning either. She has a wonderful baby. And she's also getting ready to start up her next term, her summer term for University of Cincinnati. Now, does that mean that it's only those 3 organizations that we support? And that's what we have been accused of. And I want to say, phooey. Phooey, phooey, phooey. Today is a very special day because the money you will give today, plus the money we get from the endowment outreach program, is money that will go to support 3 more organizations. Also, we support organizations by giving them special plates every year, depending upon whether it's a election year or not. We give between 4 and 5 special plates that are not part of our focus groups. Also, if you want publicity for your organization, please let me know. Send me a short paragraph or so, and I will make sure David Johnson gets it for our newsletter. Something else changed in recent years. Because of COVID, we got Zoom. When we used to come every afternoon, every Sunday afternoon, people with young children could not join us because they had to take care of their kids. Now on Zoom, we meet at 7 o'clock the second Thursday of every month. You want to join us? Send me a line. I will make sure you get a Zoom link. You want to talk at the meetings? Send me a short message of what you want to talk about it, and I will include it on the agenda. Meetings are not closed. They are open to everybody in the church. Switch the paper. Now, again, leadership is key. If you have something that you're really concerned about doing, and it's just you and maybe 1 or 2 other people, just contact me. I'll see which ways the Social Justice Committee can help. If you have enough people, I don't know, we never actually defined it, maybe 5, maybe 6. If you have enough people who really want to work on this project, form a team, and we will get you on the social justice calendar. What are the benefits of becoming part of the social justice calendar? You get a yearly plate collection. You can use the church for meetings, which normally people have to pay for, and you get publicity. Denise Olden and Janet Schneider, along with many other members of our congregation, have been working for years to help heal the earth. They sent out a message, and 14 people came to their meeting. They are now one of our focus groups. Just as we got a new focus group, we lost the IHN focus group. The leadership was burnt out, and nobody stepped up to replace them. I am glad to hear that we will be calling on volunteers from our community to help St. John's do the work that used to be done here. And I just heard that this morning from Faith. So that makes me feel much better. But again and again, without leadership, we don't have teams. We don't have focus groups. So here is Janet Schneider, one of the co-leaders for the Earth Care team.
Good morning. Why is the Earth Care team part of social justice? Before you see two videos that clearly explain the connection between social justice and environmental justice, I'll read selections from a Unitarian Universalist statement of conscience on climate change. We envision a world in which all people are assured of a secure and meaningful life that is ecologically responsible and sustainable, in which every form of life has intrinsic value. Entire cultures, nations, and life forms are at risk of extinction, while basic human rights to adequate supplies, food, fresh water, and health, as well as sustainable livelihoods for humans, are being undermined. Racism, sexism, and poverty worsen the effects of global warming and climate change. Our world is calling us to gather in community and respond from our moral and spiritual wealth. Together, we can transform our individual and congregational lives into acts of moral witness, discarding our harmful habits for new behaviors and practices that will sustain life on earth, ever vigilant against injustice. Now we'll see a couple of videos that more clearly explain exactly what we mean.
Okay, so this is a city. Here are all the people living in it, people of all different colors, ages, wealths, and incomes. Except they don't all live together in the same place. They're separated into different parts of the city by what color they are, what language they speak, and how much money they have. And those different parts of the city look quite different. The parts that are whiter and wealthier tend to have green spaces, grocery stores with nutritious organic food, and of course the money to buy it, and are often far away from pollution-emitting freeways. The parts that are poorer and more diverse tend to have industrial sites, heavy-duty diesel-polluted ports and highways, and hazardous waste, all things that the city relies on to run properly, but that heavily pollute the air and water. And even if they had those grocery stores with nutritious organic food, most residents there couldn't afford it anyway. How did this happen? Well, this segregation can be traced back to race-based zoning and housing policies, but it wasn't always as deliberate as plain old racism. Some separations can simply be traced to poor land use planning. And as a result, these residents of the same city live very different lives. Say the city realizes it has an emissions problem. It comes up with a plan to reduce air pollution, plant more trees to suck up the carbon, or start a cap-and-trade program. But those trees get planted in the neighborhoods that are already green, and the factories that are spewing toxins into the air just buy more carbon offsets and keep spewing their toxins. The benefits of these programs are enjoyed by the communities that are already doing just fine, and the communities that were hurting most from all that air pollution, well, they're still hurting. This isn't just an imaginary city, this is the story of real cities all across the US where people might live in the very same area code, but their race, ethnicity, or wealth and income bracket causes them to experience wildly different quality of air, water, and life. In fact, it can even mean that they also experience different deaths. That's how serious this stuff is. This kind of inequity expands far beyond cities, too. Rural areas are full of commercially valuable resources like oil and coal, and they're also home to indigenous and low-income communities. But when those resources are extracted, those communities don't see any of the money, and they end up with all the air and water contamination that's left over from the extraction. And we even see this injustice on a global level, like in small island nations that are forced to directly confront the consequences of rising sea levels, but haven't played any significant role in the industries that are causing climate change. These peoples are sometimes forced to flee their homes because their land is literally going underwater. But the very states that did play a hand in creating climate change don't have migration policies to accommodate them. So when we talk about environmental justice, we're talking about how we can try to break down and reimagine a system that's built up on these inequities. A system where those who are already disadvantaged because of their race and economic status are made poorer because they're unable to profit from the resources that the world depends on, and are made sick or worse by the environmental contamination that comes with extracting those resources. Social inequities are intimately tied to the environment. That's why social justice is an environmental issue too.
The United States of America is segregated, and so is pollution. Those words from our next guest, the so-called father of environmental justice, Robert Bullard. As a sociologist in the 1970s, he shone a light on how minority communities in Houston, Texas suffered most from pollution. Since then, he's written more than a dozen books on sustainable development, environmental racism, and climate justice. And he's been talking to our Walter Isaacson in Texas as part of our ongoing initiative about poverty, jobs, and economic opportunity in America called Chasing the Dream.
I have been absolutely fascinated by the concept of environmental justice. Tell me what that concept means and how you became the father of that.
Well, environmental justice embraces the principle that all communities are entitled to equal protection of our housing, transportation, employment, and transportation, energy. And so it's a concept that's rolled in equal protection, equal access, equal enforcement. And it's not a fuzzy issue. It's an issue of the right to live in a neighborhood that's not overpolluted, a neighborhood where your kids can play outside on the playground, that's not next to a refinery or a chemical plant.
And that's how you got into it. It was 1978.
1978. That was so long ago. And it was an accident. It was an accident. You know, my wife came home one day and said, Bob, I've just sued the state of Texas, and I've sued this company that's trying to put this landfill in the middle of this suburban, middle-class black community in Houston. And she said I needed somebody to collect data for this lawsuit and put where the pins are and where the landfills are on a map. And I said, well, you need a sociologist. She said, that's what you are, right? That's how I got roped into this. I got drafted.
And you discovered that there were like 7 landfills. How many of those 7 were in African-American neighborhoods?
Well, what I discovered from the 30s up until 1978, that 5 out of 5 of the city-owned landfills were in black neighborhoods. 6 out of 8 of the city-owned incinerators were in black neighborhoods, and 3 out of 4 of the privately owned landfills were in black neighborhoods, even though blacks only made up 25% of the population during that period of time. And this is in a city that's the 4th largest city in a city that doesn't have zoning, so somebody was making these decisions, and what we found is that it was not random. Everybody produces garbage, but everybody doesn't have to live next to the landfill. And it was not just a poverty thing. The subject of the lawsuit, Bean versus Southwestern Waste Management Corporation, was a middle-class black neighborhood of homeowners. 85% of the people own their homes. And so it was not a poverty pocket, it was not a ghetto. This was a solid middle-class neighborhood of houses and people and trees.
The City Council of Houston that's making that decision back then, what's the racial makeup of that City Council?
All white.
All 7?
All 7.
Yeah.
So you get this whole idea of environmental justice also means having access to decisions that are being made and making sure that it's access, and that no one segment of our city or county or region should be making decisions for other people. And so the idea that this was a policy of not having individuals on that city council in that room saying, well, let's not just put all the landfills or the incinerators or the garbage dump in this one area. And so it's a matter of equity, a matter of fairness, and a matter of civil rights.
And how does climate change affect this?
Well, climate change, if you look at environmental justice, climate change basically overlays this whole issue of who has contributed most and who's going to be impacted the greatest. And if you look at the footprint of climate change, and climate change is more than parts per million and greenhouse gases. It also includes who's most vulnerable, who's going to have the burden of living in these areas that are going to be hit hard, whether it's droughts, whether it's flooding, or whether other kinds of issues. And again, the climate change, sea level rise, will exacerbate the inequities that already exist. You know, if people are poor, they're in low-lying areas that's prone to flooding, you're going to get more flooding. You're going to get more droughts and more disasters. You're going to get more of the issues of the widening gap between haves and have-nots, and you're going to get this whole piling on effect of not having, you know, a level of resilience to bounce back because of a flood.
And now we will sing the hymn 117, Building a New Way, from your Teal hymnal. We'll also have the lyrics on the screen. In the interest of time, we're just going to sing the first 2 verses. Now we will finish with our closing words by Nelson Mandela. I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way, but I have discovered the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are more hills to climb. I have taken a moment here to rest, to steal a view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back on the distance I have come, but I can only rest for a moment, for with freedom come responsibilities, and I dare not linger, for my long walk is not ended. And now we will extinguish the chalice with the words that are on the screen right now. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
How's everybody doing this morning? We all take a deep breath. Thank you all for your patience. I don't know what the heck that was, but hey, we made it. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Ooh, imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us,